In Arabic, if you say la ghurfa, that's what it means. Now, so prevention is better than cure. And the Prophet ﷺ, for that reason, he told us, and for reasons of when the illness strikes, as well as prevention, in many ahadith he told us of three things. قال عليه الصلاة والسلام إن كان الشفاء بشيء فبثلاثة. If there is cure in anything, then in three things, and that's good for prevention as well. Al-hijama, and that's one way of letting blood. In Islam we have two ways of letting blood out, and this is used to be known even in Western medicine. Chinese people still practice it, and alhamdulillah the Muslim people still practice it. Conventional medicine used to do it before, now they don't do it. They just take it indirectly in the form of a blood test. They say we need 5 bottles so that we can try one drop of blood. MashaAllah, let's take it. This bottle, wow, what's going on here? Is it blood test or blood murder? And sometimes you go to hospital and think they're running low on blood or something. So bloodletting in Arabic is called fasd. And in Arabic, in Islam we have two. One is when the major blood carriers, like the veins and arteries, can be cut, and a person who knows how to do it can let some blood out and close it. The other one is hijama, which is cutting, and that is to cut those minor blood carriers, not the major ones, because the major ones are more dangerous. The minor ones are cut very, very, that's what the Prophet said in some of the narrations of this hadith, shartat mihjam. And mihjam, the ulama said, can mean two things. One is the actual thing, and one is the shartat al-mihjam. Because the hajjam, the person who does hijama, he used to have, and still now, has a very fine blade with which he or she, if it's done for sisters, cuts the skin, very, very tiny way. And of course the skin has blood vessels, very small blood vessels, and it starts oozing blood out. Now why it's called cupping is because they used to put a cup, and then in the old days they used to suck it, so that there is sucking motion, then they would put it on the skin, and that would remain because there was air left out, and sometimes they used to do with fire, put fire into that, it will suck out all the oxygen, you put it on the skin and it sucks the skin in, which helps the blood to come out. And that blood is the bad blood that we have. Because a lot of illnesses happen because of blood. Not everything can be treated with hijama, even though some people say everything can be treated with hijama. Some things, hijama is bad for them, some illnesses. But you have to know, just like honey, which is the second thing the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, that drinking honey, or eating honey, in Arabic we call it drinking honey, eating honey is another thing. And this is in itself also not for every disease. That's why we have to understand some things mentioned in the ahadith are for some things are for other things. And that is why the ulama, they said that honey, as in another hadith, is good for the person who has some, like constipation, or problems with the stomach. Because a man came to the Prophet ﷺ and kept coming to him 4 times and saying, my brother has a problem with his stomach, and he said, give him some honey, give him some honey. And finally the Prophet said, before the final one, the Prophet said, صدق الله وكذب بطن أخيك. That Allah spoke the truth in Surah Al-Nahl. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? Regarding the honey that bees produce, because we have a whole surah called bees, Nahl, Al-Nahl, the bees. And we have a whole surah called Al-Naml, the ants. That's before the RSPCA. It's true. And the Royal Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, I hope they create one for the Muslims too. because they prevent cruelty for animals, but not to Muslims, mashallah. That, of course, is important, not to treat animals badly, but before 1400, how many centuries, 14, 13 centuries, before they were created, we had these surahs and these ahadith about treating animals well. Not to kill bees, not to kill ants. And they're the smallest creatures. Can you find anything smaller than ants? Maybe you can, but with a microscope. But to the naked eye, very difficult to find smaller than ants. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَخْرُجُ مِن بُطُونِهَا شَرَابٌ مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهُ فِيهِ شِفَاءٌ لِلنَّاسِ. That its different colors, from its bellies, the bees, comes the honey, a drink, because sharab, some nations, some languages, they say it's all alcohol. It's not true. I mean, it's a drink in Arabic. Otherwise you can't have a drink from the belly of the bee that's already alcoholic. And generally, animals don't engage in that. It's only humans. They take something halal, make some things and make it haram. Because all the alcohol, all the ingredients are halal. They mix it, becomes haram. They wait and do and this and that. Now, so it's of different colors, the honey, and you know yourselves. And in it there is cure for people. That's why the Prophet said to this man, the stomach of your brother has told a lie and Allah spoke the truth. Meaning, and Ibn al-Qayyim explained why he needed, because there is a dosage just like in medicines. He needed to reach that dosage and that prescribed time, because after the fourth time he was cured. So honey is not for everything, because it makes, the ulama said, the ulama of tibb as well, the scholars of medicine, and as well as the scholars of Islam, they said honey generally heats the body. So if you have temperature, it's not a good idea to take honey. You need to take, when you have temperature, as the Prophet ﷺ told us, to cool it with cold water. And a lot of us don't do it. We should. Cold water is, the Prophet said, Al-Humma min fayhi jahannam fa'abriduha bil-ma'i al-barid. That this temperature and fever that we get is from fayhu jahannam, the breathing or the activity of jahannam. So make it cool with cold water. So when you get fever, or someone else you know gets fever, your wife, maybe your children, you can use it, you can always do it. That is something that was tried and tested by people through trial and error, and they arrived at it that it's good to do it. Now, and the third thing mentioned in that hadith is al-kay, and that is cauterization or treating with fire. And the Prophet said, وَلَا أُحِبُّ أَنْ أَكْتَوِي, I don't like to use it, and in some hadith he used it. So the ulama said, it is to show that it's permissible, but it's better to avoid it. Just like in the hadith of the 70,000, they do not do it. They rely on Allah. Now, also how Islam treats plague. The plague is a very nasty disease. Generally the symptoms are very severe and they appear on the skin and the face of the person. And plague, the Prophet told us not to go, if there is plague known to be in a place, not to go into that place, and if you happen to be in that place, not to leave it. It doesn't mean the person wants to die in that place. The ulama explained that it is only by the will of Allah. If Allah wills him to die, he will die there. If Allah wills him not to die, he will never die. And the person must obey the Prophet ﷺ not to leave. And this is the first, in my view, and in the view of many ulama from whom I took this, they say this is the first known case of quarantine, when an actual whole area is quarantined. And some people may say, but it's